Hey, this is John Starrett with Procure SQL, and I'm going to share another SQL Server tip with you today. In this tip, we're going to go over not only how to classify your sensitive columns, which would be the data in the columns, but we're also going to go over how you can audit based on those columns that you've marked sensitive. So anytime anyone would do anything with those columns, you would be able to have an audit trace of that. So let's go ahead and jump into the demo. So here in the Management Studio, we have a data classification report here. And I just want to focus and show you guys and gals that we have no classified columns here. Nothing in our database is classified. All right, if we wanted to make changes, we would do this over here. In fact, you can also see a nice little bonus is that there are recommendations already. So even if you're not sure what should be sensitive or not, this is a good thing for you to check out. Now, in case you're a Deborah Cox and you were wondering, how did we get here? I'm going to go ahead and right-click on the database, go over to Tasks, Data Discovery and Classification, and Classify Data. So just kind of showing you that path there. All right, and I'll take you right back to here where we are. So let's go ahead and classify some data. I'm going to go ahead and say, let's look at the sales schema. I'm going to go to the customer. Now you see that this add classification button is here and usable. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. And the first thing that we're going to have to do here is pick a column that's going to be labeled as sensitive data here that we would definitely want to track any type of access to. So we're going to go ahead and go with customer name. You're going to see under the information type drop down, we have some other options here. So we're going to go ahead and pick name for this one. So go in here and select name. And then you're going to have different levels or labels that you can have for your sensitivity here. Here we're going to go with the confidential GDPR. I'm going to go ahead and click add. And then I'm going to go ahead and add just another example here so we have more than one that will show up. And so here I'm going to go ahead and say, we'll go with phone number, contact info, confidential. All right, so now we have a couple here, but they're not saved yet. One thing I want to show you here is these purple lines here and this wonderful message will let us know that we have to go ahead and save this. So we're going to go ahead and click over here. And we're going to click the View Report to go back over to our report here and see that we have our columns added. Now you might be wondering, John, we just enabled this on the customers table. You're seeing this here because this is a temporal table of customer archive, so old data gets put over there and the sensitive label will also go there too. All right, so we now have our data classification here. We've classified some columns. All right, so now let's go to the audit portion of this. So we have two different areas that we're going to be looking at. So the first one here is at our database. When we go to the security level, we are going to see database audit specifications. So this is where we're going to actually apply some action types that will allow us to see if any changes happen to our labeling of sensitive columns or if anything completes that touches one of our sensitive columns. And of course here then, we're also going to go down to under security on the instance here. We're going to go to auditing here and we're going to create our new audit that then would actually be able to be assigned over here as well. And then once that's going, we're going to run a query and we're going to go take a look. All right, so we're going to create a new audit here. And I'm going to say classify demo. We're going to have file here. We're going to say path over here. We're going to say C:DBA, which is a folder I have here. Maximum files, I'm going to say 5. And we're going to limit this to 10 MB too. All right, now we have that. It's not enabled. I'm going to go back over to our audit specification here so we can use that audit. And so what I want to show you here, when we go look at the audit action types, there's two that we're going to focus on. And this is going to be these two right here. Sensitive batch complete group and sensitive classification change type. So the sensitivity classification change group will let us know if there are any changes at all to the labeling of columns to be sensitive. So if anything was changed, deleted, added, this would all trigger this action type. The other one is going to be when sensitive batch completes group, meaning if any queries completed that touches the columns here, then we're going to trigger and capture that too. All right, so we're going to do one for each one of these. So we have that one there, and we're going to have classification change. Notice here, nowhere are we applying this towards any objects, schemas. Okay, now that we have our audit in place, let's go ahead and select some data and see what we get from our audit log here. Since we created this on the sales customers table, I'm just going to do a select 1000 row here. And as we scroll down here and right click, you'll see on our audit here, I'm going to right click and do the view audit logs. And here we go. So here are the events caught that I'd like us to focus on. So we have sensitive batch completed, sensitive RPC completed, and also our audit enabled there. So as we scroll over to here, we're going to be able to see all the who, what, when, where, why. So for example, we can see who did it, the query that was ran, where in the audit it is. But here's the secret sauce that if you have auditing with other stuff too, you can go ahead and filter off of the XML data here for sensitivity information too. So I hope this tip's helpful for you guys. I don't really think there's a reason why anyone shouldn't be able to classify their data and have an audit to track whenever anyone touches it. Again, it's John Sterrett from Procure SQL, and I look forward to seeing you on the next tip.